Okay, we are at the words Amar of Papa, which is, I would say about 20 lines from the bottom. So in the middle, a little bit above the middle, about a third of the way down the wide lines there. Third word on the line is Amar of Papa. And we are continuing the discussion from yesterday, where we talked about the fact the dichotomy between a living human and a dead body. How even a day-old child, has an awe that extends over all living creatures, whereas a dead body, even as powerful as Og Melech HaBashan, as the giant Og, has there's no fear and will be eaten by mice. So Papa continues with that statement, how there's an awe of a living person over the creatures of the animals. Amar Papa nakitinan arye abetre lo nafil. We have a rule that a lion will never attack two people together. So it might attack a single person, but once you have two people, then a lion will not attack them. Says the Gemara, but we see that we've had instances where a lion does attack even two people. So says the Gemara, this is, it must be that this is referring to a case discussed by Rami Bar Abba, the Amar Rabbi Bar Abba, that an animal will never attack a human being unless, Rashi explains, it's already been decreed upon that person that he should be punished, and that he is liable for death. And in that case, he is deemed by heaven that he's like an animal, meaning this awe that a human being has will be taken from him, and he will be like an animal and vulnerable to attack by other animals. Shenemar Adam bi'ikar bal yalin nimshal kabehimos nidmu, that a man will not reside in honor any longer, and he will be considered like the animals of the field. He'll be silent like the animals. Amar Rav Chanina asur lishon b'bayis yichidi, that Rav Chanina says that a human being is vulnerable to demons, and therefore it's forbidden to sleep alone in a house. Anyone who sleeps alone in a house is in danger of being attacked by Lilith, which is a demon, a powerful demon, and he's liable to be attacked by this demon. V'tanya Rav Shimon ben Elazar Omer, and we learned Rav Shimon ben Elazar says, "Asay ad she'ata motzei u'matzur lecha va'odcha biyadcha." That make sure to be careful to do good deeds as long as you are able and they are available to you, and it's still within your power. Meaning that a person should do good deeds in his youth when he still has the ability to do them. Shlomo Amar b'chachmaso, and even Shlomo said in his wisdom, "U'zechor es bora'acha b'yemei b'churotecha." Remember Hashem, remember your Creator in the days of your youth. Ad asher lo yavo yemei hara'a, until before the days of evil will befall you. Elu yemei hazikna, these are the days of old age. V'higiu shanim asher tomar ein li bahem chayfetz, and the years will come when you will say, I have no purpose. Elu yemei hamashiach, these are referring to the time of the coming of Mashiach. She'ein bahem lo schus v'lo chova, that according to this opinion in the Gemara, essentially free choice will be taken from people, and it will become so clear and obvious that a person is obligated to perform mitzvos that essentially free choice will be taken, and there will not be reward and punishment any longer. Pliga de Shmuel, and this opinion is in contrast to Shmuel's opinion. Da Amar Shmuel ein ben olam hazeli mos hamashiach ela shibud malchios bilvad. Shmuel says that the world will not change significantly. Rather, the only difference between our days and the days of the coming of Mashiach will be that Am Yisrael, the Jewish nation, will no longer be subjugated to other kingdoms, and we will be supreme over the other nations. But otherwise, the world, the physical world, the way we know it, will stay the way it is. Shenemar ki lo yechdal evyon mikerev haaretz, because Shmuel expounds on the pasuk which says that a poor person will never disappear from this world. The poor will always exist, meaning that there will always be rich and poor people, and economic, social strata will remain the same. So you see that the world will not change significantly. Tanya, Rabbi Lazar Akapar Omer, Rabbi Lazar Akapar says in regard to the idea of wealth and poverty, La'olam Yevakesh Adam Rachamim Al Midazu, a person should always beg for mercy regarding the concept of poverty, that Shem Huloba Ba Beno, Ben Benolo Ba, Ben Beno Ba, because if poverty will not afflict him, it will afflict, eventually it will come to his children, and if not to his children, then to his grandchildren, meaning that there's never a family who will be immune from poverty. Shenema ki beglal hadavar hazeh, because in the pasuk it says, in regard to because of this charity that you will do, you will merit mercy. But it uses the word biglal, which can also be understood Tana debei Rabbi Shmuel galgal hu shechozer ba'olam. The word biglal can refer to a cycle, like a wheel, a cycle that constantly rotates around the world. That there will be wealth and there will be poverty, and even if someone is wealthy now, it does not mean that eventually your luck can change and a person can be afflicted with poverty. If not him, then his children or his grandchildren. Amar of Yosef said, Naketinon hai tzurva merabanon lo me'ani. Rav Yosef says that we have a rule that a Torah scholar will never be afflicted with poverty. Says the Gemara, v'hachazinon deme'ani. Says the Gemara, but we have evidence to the contrary. We see there are many Torah scholars that are very poor, that are impoverished. Says the Gemara, im isa deme'ani ahadure apischa lo me'ader. So says the Gemara that it might be that they will be afflicted with poverty, but never to the extent that they will have to beg at the doorways of people's homes. Amalei Rav Chia l'debisu, Rav Chia said to his wife, Ki asi anya akdimi le rifta. If a poor person comes to the door collecting, immediately rush to give him a loaf of bread. Ki hechidu lekadmu livnach. That in order that if our children will be forced to beg at the doorways, then they will merit that people will rush to give them charity as well. Amalei, so she said to him, Melat kalaitis. Are you cursing our children that they should be forced to collect to beg at the doorways? So Amar La Kra Koksiv, he said it's not me who where this originates from, but rather it's a pasuk ki beglal hadavar hazeh, because in regard to this matter, you will merit mercy, and like we just v'tana debei Rabbi Shmuel galgal hu shechozer ba'olam, and Rabbi Shmuel said that this is a cycle which affects the world. That it's inevitable that poverty will at some point reach every person. Tanya, Rabbi Gamliel beRebbi Omer, Gamliel said in the name of Rebbe, v'nasan lecha rachamim v'richamcha v'hirbecha, that Hashem says, if you that I will give you mercy and you will be fruitful. Kol hamerachim ala brios merachimin alav min hashamayim. This teaches us anyone who has mercy over other people, then he will merit mercy from heaven. And one who does not have mercy upon others, then he will not merit mercy from heaven. So the Gemara now is going to expand upon this idea that a person should be careful to perform good deeds in his youth before old age overtakes him, and this is the pasuk in Koheles, which said, before the sun will be darkened, v'ha'or, and the light, zu padachas v'hachotem. This is referring to the forehead and the nose of a person, which are considered to have the light of a person's countenance. V'hayareach, and the moon zu neshama. This is the soul which shines from a person. V'hakochavim, and the stars will be dimmed. Elo halasatos is referring to the cheeks of a person. V'shavu ha'avim achar hageshem, and the clouds will darken after the rain. Zu ma'or einav shal adam shaholech achar habechi. This is the vision of a person's eyes that are now affected by tears that will be diminished by the tears that a person sheds. Amar Shmuel, and Shmuel expounds upon this. He says, "Haitim ata tears adabain shnin, until 40 years of age, hadra, then they do not affect a person's vision, and the person's vision will return like it was before. Mikan ve'elach lo hadra. However, from that age onwards, then tears will affect the person's vision and will be diminished." But Amar Rav Nachman said, "Hai kuchla." This eyeshadow, which was used for medicinal purposes in the times of the Gemara, ad arbain shnin marvach, until 40 years of age, then it actually improves a person's vision. It's healthy for the eyes. Mikan va'elach. From that point onwards, however, afilu malia ka'avisna de girdai, even if he will fill his eyes with the amount of with a large amount of eyeshadow, according to the size of the weaver's pin, which was very thick. It will keep a person's vision the way it is. However, it will not improve it. My kamash malan. What is this teaching us? This statement, that the more eyeshadow a person uses, the more healthy it is, the more advantageous it is. And nevertheless, the Gemara is saying that beyond a certain age, it's not going to improve things. It will only maintain the status quo. Rav Chanina Shchiva Lebrate, Rav Chanina's daughter passed away, Lo Hava Kabachi Allah, and he did not shed tears over her. Amrul Hedebisu, so his wife said to him, Tarnagolta Afikas Mi Betach. You shed no tears over her. Is it like a chicken, a rooster that you're removing from your home? Does it have no effect on you? Are you not? Do you have no emotion? So he answered her, Tichla v'ivra. So he said that if I will shed tears, I will be afflicted not only by the pain and sadness, but not only by mourning, but even by blindness as well. So therefore he refrained from shedding tears, so will not cause him to go blind. Savalaki hada amar Rabbi Yochanan mishum Rabbi Yossi ben Kitzarta, and this is following the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan. Sheish dema'os hein. There are 6 types of tears. Shalosh yafos v'shalosh ra'os. 3 are healthy for a person, and 3 are bad for a person's health. Shal ashan, that caused from smoke, v'shal bechi, and from tears, from sadness, v'shal beis akise, and from the pain of the bathroom, and from pain caused by constipation. Ra'os, they are bad for a person's health. Shal sam, but that brought about from medicine, v'shal schok, and from laughter, v'shal peros, and that brought about by strong fruits, meaning like from onions. Then those are healthy for a person's. Those are good for a person's vision. The Gemara now elaborates upon verses from Koheles and expounding on the effects of old age upon a person. B'yom sheyazu shomrei habayis v'sa'avsu, from in the days when the guardians over the household, b'yom sheyazu shomrei habayis elu hakasalim v'hatzlos, that is referring to the collapse of the guardians of the home, is referring to the rib cage and the flanks of a person's body, that they hold a person upright and they protect the body. Those are referring to the thighs, the muscles of the legs that hold a person upright. And the grinders will seize elu shinayim. Those are referring to the teeth which grind a person's food. And they will darken those who peer through the windows. Elu einayim, those are referring to the eyes which see through from within the person's body. Amar Kesar Rav Yeshua ben Chananya. The Roman Caesar once approached Rabbi Yeshua ben Chananya, who was the primary spokesperson for the Jewish people, and he said to him, "My time lo asis lebe Avidan. Why have you not come to the house of Avidan?" Rashi explains that that was a meeting place where it was a place of debate, where the Jewish sages would debate against the apostates and against the others who would attempt to disprove the Torah based on different verses in the Torah. So he asked him, "How come you no longer come to the debates?" Amar le, so he answered him, "Tur talag sachrone glidin." The snowy mountain has been surrounded by ice. Kalbohi lo navchin. The dogs no longer bark. Tachanohi lo tochen, and the grinders no longer grind. And Rashi explains what this means is the snowy mountain has been surrounded by ice, which means that he's now surrounded by white hair, meaning that his hair has gone white. Kalboi lo navchin means that his voice no longer projects. He's lost the strength of his voice. Tachanoi lo tochen means his teeth have fallen out, and he no longer has the teeth that he needs to grind food. So he's saying that he's been overtaken by old age. He no longer has the strength to come to these debates. Beirav Amri, Adala Avidna Bachishna. In the house of Rav, they said that he also said to him that that which I have not lost, I am searching for, which means that he's bent over, looking like a person who's searching things on the ground. And is again referring to old age. Tanya Rabbi Yossi Bar Kisma Omer, Rabbi Yossi Bar Kisma said, Tava Trei Mitlas, that two is better than three, meaning that a person who can walk on two legs and his own strength is better than three, the one who requires a cane to support him. Vaila Lechada da Azla, woe is it to the one who has gone, Velo Asyan does not return. Maihi, and what is that referring to? Amar of Chizda Yankusa, it's referring to the strength of youth, which leaves and does not return. Ki Asa Rav Dimi said, Yankusa Klila Devarda, youth is like a crown of roses. Sabusa Kalila Dechilfa, old age is like a crown of thorns. Tana Mishmedu Rabbi Meir, Dok Bekachi V'Tishkach Benigri, that if a person grinds with his teeth, meaning that he is careful with his food, then he will have the strength in his legs. Shenemar v'nisboa lechem v'niyeh tovim v'ra'a lo ra'inu. If we will be satiated with bread, then we will be good and healthy, and we will not be afflicted by bad. Amar le Shmuel Rav Yehuda, and similarly Shmuel said to Rav Yehuda, Shinina, the sharp one. And Rav Yehuda was referred to as the sharp one due to his prowess in learning Torah. Shari sakecha, open your sack, meaning open your mouth. Va'ayil lachmach, and take in your bread, because an arba'in shnin, as long as you are young, up to 40 years, michla male, then food, solid food is good for your health. Mikan ve'elach, mishte male, from that point onwards, then drink, liquid is better for your health than food. Amar le hahu goza Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha. So Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha was approached by a eunuch who was he was an apostate. So he was one who had left the Torah, and he wanted to make fun of Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha. So he said to him, "Mehacha lekarchina kama." From here to the place of Karchina, how far is the distance? And Karchina is the word for kireach, which means a bald person. Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha was bald, and he was poking fun at him. So Amar le kemehacha legoznaya. So Yeshua ben Karcha answered him sharply. He said it's the same distance from here to Goznaya, which means one who is cut off, which means he was referring to him being a eunuch. Amar le tziduki. So the tziduki said to him further, Barcha karcha ba'arba'a, a bald goat is sold for 4 dinrim, meaning that it's sold at a very low price because of the fact that it's bald. Again, making fun of him for his baldness. Amar le ikra shalifa bitmanya. It says that a cut off, a castrated, a a castrated goat is sold for only 8, meaning that you similarly have a very low value. The apostate saw that Rabbi Shua was not wearing shoes. Amarle, the Alsus Melech, one who merits to ride on a horse, is like a king. The Al Chamor, one who rides on a donkey, so a lower level. Ben Chorin, he's like a free man. Or the Magle Beruglohi, one who walks with shoes on his feet. Bar Inish, that he is considered on the level of a human. The Loha, one who does not even have shoes, he does not even walk on his feet. Then even the dead who are buried are considered better than him. So he was again making fun of him for not having shoes. Amar lei. So Rabbi Shua answered him, Goza, eunuch, Tlas Amrit, you have told me 3 things to poke fun at me. Tlas Shamit, then here are these 3 things that I will answer you. Hadras Panim Zakein, the beauty of a person's countenance, the beauty of a person's face is his beard. Simchas Leiv, the joy of his heart. Isha is a person's wife. Nachalas Hashem Banim, and the inheritance of Hashem is the children that a person is blessed with. Baruch HaMakom, blessed is Hashem, blessed is God, Shemena'acham Mikulam, that he has taken all 3 from you, because being a eunuch, he no longer grows a beard, and he's not capable of marriage or having children. Amar lei, so this eunuch answered him, Karcha Mitsuyana, bald man, have you come to poke fun of me, to debate me? Amar lei, Ikra Shlifa Tochacha, a castrated goat, have you come to rebuke me? Meaning that he's saying to him that you were the one who began this discussion. You began by poking fun at me, and I'm only answering you back. Amalei Rebbe Rav Shimon ben Chalafta. Rebbe said to Rav Shimon ben Chalafta, "Mipnei ma lo hikbalnu panecha beregel kederech shehikbilu avosei laavosecha." Why did you not come to visit me during the Yom Tov, during the holiday? Like it was the custom of your father to come and visit my father. So why did you not keep up that custom? Amar lei, so he answered him, Sla'im nasu gavohim, that I've reached old age where now the small rocks that were on the road, the small obstacles have become large. Krovim nasu rechokim, that which used to be near is now feels like it's far away. Mishtayim nasu shalosh, from two legs has now become 3. I require a cane. Mesim shalom babayis batel, then a person's sexual drive, which is part of bringing peace in a person's home. Batel, that no longer exists by me, meaning I've been afflicted by old age, and I no longer had the strength to travel to come and to visit you. The Gemara now continues discussing the effects of old age. V'sagru d'lasayim b'shuk. The doorways have been closed in the market. Elu nekavav shel adam. Those are referring to the orifices of a person's body that will no longer function properly. Bishval kol hatachana, the voice, the sound of the grinders has become low. Bishvil korkavan she'eno tochen, that a person's digestive system no longer works properly. V'yakum lekol hatzipor, and he will rise to the sound of the birds. Sha'afilu tzipor min ha'arto mishnaso, that he will no longer sleep deeply. He will no longer be able to sleep deeply. That even the sound of the birds will rouse him from his sleep. V'yashochu kol benos hashir, and the sound of the song will be heavy. Sha'afilu kol sharim v'sha'os domos olav kishucha, that even the sound of singers, of male and female singers, will no longer be pleasant to him. It will be dim. Yeah, he will no longer derive pleasure from it. V'af Barzilai Hagiladi Amar LeDavid, even Barzilai Hagiladi said to David, and he was a friend of David HaMelech, of King David, he said to him, Ben Shmonam Shana Anochi Hayom, I've reached 80 years old. Ha'eda ben Tov Lara. Can I longer distinguish? Can I still distinguish between, discern the difference between good and bad? Mikan shedaitam shel zakenim mishtanos. We see from here that the wisdom of old people begins to dim. Ve'im yitam avodecha es asher ochal. Can I longer taste the food which I eat, and the liquid which I drink. From here, that the lips and the taste buds of an older person, misraftos, they wither, and he no longer has the ability to distinguish tastes as well as he did earlier. And can I longer hear the sound of singers, that the hearing of older people becomes heavy as well. Amar Rav, and Rav said, Barzilai Giladi Shikra, that Barzilai Giladi, he was not telling the truth. He was not, in fact, truthful, because at the age of 80, he should not have been afflicted as strongly. Dahi Amasa, the Havya Bei Rebbe, because there was a maidservant in the house of Rebbe, Bastishin V'Tartein Shnin, she was 92 years old, V'Havas Ta'ama Kidra, and she was the official taster. She would taste the food that was cooking in order to see what spices it needs. So you see that even at an older age, a person is capable of tasting. And Barzilai Hagiladi was exaggerating and explained because he was trying to get out of having to travel with David. He did not want to have to go and the bother of travel, so he was exaggerating his condition. Rava says another answer that in fact it might have been true that Barzilai Hagiladi, his body had aged significantly, but that was because Shatuv Bezima Hava, because he was a promiscuous person. Shatuv Bezima, anyone who is promiscuous, Zikna Kofetzes Alav, then old age affects him earlier. So even though he was at a younger age, he was still afflicted by the physical effects of old age. Tanya, Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Yossi, Omer, Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Yossi said, Talmidei Chachamim kol zaman shemazkinen chachma nitvases bohem. That Torah scholars, the older they get, the more wisdom they have. Shenemar b'yeshishim chachma va'orech yamim tevuna. That in the old people, Hashem will add wisdom, and as the person ages, he'll be given greater wisdom. Ba'amei ha'aretz, and the ignorant, calls manshem askinan tipshus nisvasves bohen. The older they get, the more foolish they become. Shenemar, as the pasuk says, meisir safa l'ne'emanim v'ta'am zekenim yikach. He will take the voice of the wisdom of the faithful, and the discernment from the old people. Gam migavoa yiru, and the verse says further, another verse, that even from that which is tall, which is high, they will be afraid. They will fear. Shafilu gavshushes kitana dome alav kahare harim. That even a small mound of dirt on the road will now appear to him like a mountain, that he will have fear of it. He'll be afraid of falling from it. V'chitachtim baderech, and I will cut them down on the road. V'shashem ahalech baderech naasu lo tohim. He will have fear when he travels on the road. The yinatz hashaked, and the almond tree which stands upright and strong. Zu kaliboses. That is referring to the hip bone, which is v'yistabel hachagav, that and the grasshopper will collapse. Hachagav elu agavos, those are referring to the agavos, the buttocks of a person, which will become heavy and collapse. V'tafer ha'evyona, and the caper berry, the berry tree will fall. Zu chemda, that is again referring to a person's sexual drive that will become diminished. Rav Kahana have a suffix sidra kamei. The Rav Kahana was reciting Torah verses in front of Rav. Kimata lahaikra, when he recited this verse, nagid ve'isnach, Rav groaned. He gave a groan, and he said, Amar shmamina batale chamde de Rav. So Rav Kahana said that I discerned from here that clearly Rav has reached this stage where his sexual drive is no longer, and therefore he is mourning. That is why he groaned. Amar Rav Kahana, Rav Kahana expounded further, what does it mean in the verse that Hashem said, and it became so? Hashem decreed and it became so. Zu Isha, that is referring to a person's attraction to a woman, which would not be, it has no logical reason to exist other than the fact that Hashem created the world that it be so. Hashem decreed, and it stands. Elu banim, that is referring to the children that a person creates that stand with him. Tana, and it was taught in a brisa, Isha chemes malay tzoa upia malay dam, that if you give it logical thought, a human being, a physical body, is no more than a pitcher that's filled with excrement, and it's flesh and blood. And yet Hashem has decreed that a person is attracted, that human beings are attracted to each other, and that only exists, does not make sense logically. It only exists because Hashem has decreed that it be so. Ki holech Adam al beis olamo, because man goes to his final resting place. Amar Rav Yitzchak said, Malamed shel kol tzadik b'tzadik nosen no lo modor lefi chavodo. That we see from here, it says that each person goes to his resting place. It's the possessive noun. Amar Rav Yitzchak. So Rav Yitzchak says that this teaches us that each righteous person is given a separate resting place according to the level of his honor, according to what he deserves. And he says what this means is mashal lemelech. An illustration of this is like a king. Shenichnas hu va'avadav le'ir, that he and his servants enter through the same gate into a city, meaning that all people enter through the gates of death equally. However, and when they enter, kulam b'shar echad nichnasin, they enter through one gate. However, when they're given a place of rest, that each one is given a place of rest according to his honor, that the king is not placed among the quarters in the servants' quarters, he's given a separate place. So too, each righteous person is given honor according to his level. But Amar Rav Yitzchak, and Rav Yitzchak says, what is the meaning of the verse? Ki hayaldus v'hashacharus, havel, that youth and a dark countenance are and which Shacharus refers to youth. Havel, it's vanity, it's vain, and it's meaningless. Dvarim sha'adam ose bi'alduso mashchirim panav. The meaning of this verse is that the evil deeds, the sins that a person does in his youth, will cause his face to be darkened out of shame in his old age. Le'esik naso, during when he reaches his older age, and he recognizes the folly of his youth. V'amar Rav Yitzchak said further, kasherima lemeis, the maggots are painful to a dead body, kimachat bebasar hachai, like a pin inserted into living flesh, meaning that even though a person even though the body is dead, nevertheless it still feels pain. That his flesh will be painful to him even after death. Rav Chizda says, the soul of a person mourns over him for the 7 days of mourning. And because it says that the soul, in this very same verse, which is referring to death, it says that his soul will mourn over him. And the verse says further, and it says that he gave a time of mourning for his father 7 days. So for those 7 days, the soul mourns over a person. Amar Rav Yehuda says, Meis she'ein lo menachamin. If there is a person who dies and he has no people to mourn over him, to receive comfort, holchin yud b'nei adam v'yoshvin b'makomo. Then 10 people should go and they should sit in the home and in the place where this person lived, and they will accept comfort. They will mourn over this person. And in fact, there was a person who died in the neighborhood of Rav Yehuda, lo hayulo menachamin, and there were none to mourn over him to receive comfort. Going on to 152b, turning the page. Kol Yoma Havadavar of Yehuda Be'asara V'Yasfi B'Duchte. And for those 7 days of mourning, Rabbi Yehuda gathered together a group of 10 people, V'Yasfi B'Duchte, and they sat in this person's home and they accepted comfort. La'achas Shiva Yamim. At the end of these 7 days, Ischazile B'Chilme. This dead person appeared to Rabbi Yehuda. This dead person appeared to Rabbi Yehuda in a dream. Va'amarle tanuach daitcha, you should be blessed with comfort. Shehei nachta is dayati, because you gave peace to my soul. You brought me comfort as well. Amar Rabavahu said, Kol she'omrim b'fnei ameis yodea, anything which is said about a dead person in front of him, then it's known to this person. He knows what is being said. Ad she'yisasem hagolel, until the cover of the grave is placed upon the grave. Pligi bar Rav Chia v'Rav Shimon b'Rebbe. And in fact, this is a matter of dispute between Rav Chia and Rav Shimon b'Rebbe. Chad amar she'yisasem hagolel. One said that the dead is aware of his surroundings until the cover is placed upon the grave. And one says that it exists for a longer time until the flesh is consumed, until the body decomposes. Each one brought a proof from verses in the Torah. The one who says until the flesh is consumed, that his flesh will be painful to him, meaning will be decomposed. And for as long as that is happening, then his soul will mourn over him, so he's aware of his surroundings, meaning the soul is still connected to the body. The one who says that it's until the cover is placed over the coffin, over the grave, that the dust will return to the ground like it was, meaning the body. Once the body is returned to the ground, then v'haruach tashuv el Elokim. The end of that verse is that the soul will return to Hashem, Hashem Esana, the one who has given it. So the meaning that as soon as the body is placed in the ground, then the soul returns to heaven. It's no longer connected to the body, and it's no longer aware of what goes on in this world. Tanu Rabbanan. So the Rabbanan expounded upon this verse which we just quoted, which says "V'haruach tashuv el Elokim Hashem Esana," that the soul will return to God that has given it. Tenei lo, return it. What this means is that it's exhorting us. It's teaching us that we should return to Nala Kamosha Nesana Lecha, Kamosha Nesana Lecha b'Tahara Afata b'Tahara. That you should return it to Hashem, to God, in the same condition that it was given to you. Just like it was given to you in absolute purity, so too you should make sure to return it as pure the way it was given. Mashal lemelech basav adam, shecholak bigdei malchus la'avodav. It's like an illustration of this is like a king, a parable. It's like a king who has given royal clothing to his servants. Pikhin shebohem kiplum v'hinicham bekufsa. The wise ones among them, they set that clothing aside, they folded it carefully, and they put it aside in a box that it should not become soiled. Tipshim shebohem halchu va'asu behen malacha. The foolish ones wore this clothing and they went about their regular lives, and they went and did their work. And of course, that clothing became soiled and ruined. The Yamim Bikesh HaMelech Es Kelev. After a certain amount of time, the king now demanded back the clothing which he had given. Pikhin Shebohen, the wise ones among them, Hechzirum Lo Kishehen Meguhatzin. The wise ones were able to return it when they were still in perfect condition. Tipshin Shebohen, the foolish ones among them, they returned them when they were soiled and ruined. Samach HaMelech Lekras Pikhin, the king was very happy about the wise ones who had returned their clothing in its perfect condition. V'kas Lekras Tipshin, and he became very angry over the foolish ones that returned them soiled. Al Pikhin Amar About the wise ones, he said, "Yinasnu kleli laotzar." Let the clothing be returned to the vault where it's kept. Vehem yelchu lebatehem l'shalom, and they should be returned to their homes. The wise ones should return to their homes in peace. Val tipshin amar, and over the foolish ones, he said, "Keli yinastu lekoves." The clothing will have to be sent to the washers to be cleansed. And they should be put in prison as punishment for having soiled the clothing. Similarly, upon a person's death, Hashem will say, Al gufan shel tzadikim, over the bodies of the righteous, Omer yavo shalom yanuchu al mishkavosam. They should come in peace and rest in their resting place. That they should be given peace. And over their soul, he says, "V'haisa nefesh adonit tzirura v'tzor hachayim." That this is the verse that was said to David HaMelech, said that the soul of my master will be returned to the vault of the living, and we'll see what that means. That it's saying that the souls of the righteous are kept in a very special place. Al gufan shel rishayim hu omer, regarding the bodies of the evil ones, it says, Ein shalom, they will not be given peace. Ein shalom amar Hashem lo rishayim, that there will not be peace for the evil ones. Al nishmasan hu omer, and regarding their soul, it says, V'es nefesh oivecha, the soul of your enemies, those who sin, yikalena b'toch kafa kela, it will be swung around, it will be thrown in the bow of the slingshot. Meaning that it will have no peace whatsoever, will constantly be thrown around. Tanya Rabbi Eliezer Omer, and the Brisa was taught, Rabbi Eliezer said, Nishmasan shel tzadikim genuzos tachas kisei hakavod. The souls of the righteous are kept in a special place directly under God's holy throne. Shenemar v'hoisa nefesh adonit tzirura b'tzor hachayim. As was said to David HaMelech, that the soul of my master will be put away in the special vault of the living. V'shel rishayim zomemos v'holchos, and those of the evil ones, zomemos v'holchos, they will constantly be moved around. Umalach echad omed b'sofa olam. Umalach echad omed b'sofa olam. Umakala nishmasan zelazeh. They will be thrown from one side of the world to the other. Shenema v'es nefesh oivecha yikalena b'toch kafa kela, that the souls of your enemies will be thrown around like a rock from a slingshot. Amar le Rabba Rav Nachman. So Rabba asked Rav Nachman, "Shal beno nemai." So you told us what happens to the righteous. You told us what happened to the evil one. What about those of us who are somewhere in the middle? Amar le Ika. It's well that you asked this question. Shachivna lo amri lachu. Even upon my death, I would not be able to tell you the answer. Hai milsa hachi amar Shmuel, but I can tell you that Shmuel said regarding this, Elu va'elu leduma nimsarin. Both the souls of the people in the middle and the souls of the evil ones, nimsarin, they're given over to Duma, who's the master over the lower worlds, over Gehenna, over hell. Halalu yesh lahen manoach. However, those the souls of the ones in the middle, they are given peace. They are given respite, meaning they need to be cleansed. However, they will not be subjected to punishment on that level. V'halalu ein lahen manoach. However, the souls of the evil ones will have no respite from their punishment whatsoever. Amar Rav Mari taught Asidim tzadikim dahavu afra. Even the bodies of the righteous will still decompose; they'll return to dust. V'chsiv v'yashuv ha'afar la'aretz ka'asher kishahaya. That the body will return to the dust as it was, and that is what was taught to. That is the decree that was given on Adam Arishon, on Adam, because of his sin, and that decree was given to all human beings. And does not distinguish between the righteous and the evil ones. So it applies to everybody. Hani kapulai the havo kafli ba'ara the Rav Nachman. There were grave diggers that were digging in the area of Rav Nachman. Nachar bahu Rav Achai bar of Yoshia. And Rav Achai, the soul of Rav Achai bar Yoshia, who was buried there, rebuked them for digging around him. Also, Rav Nachman, Nachar bon Gavra. So they came and reported to Rav Nachman that a person, a dead person, was rebuking us. So Rav Nachman traveled to this grave. Also, Amale manihu mar. So Rav Nachman came to this grave and he asked, "Who is this? Who are you?" Amale ana Achai bar Yoshia. I am Achai bar Yoshia. Amale. So he asked him, "V'lav Amar Rav Mari asidi tzadika dahavu afra." Did not Rav Mari say that even the bodies of the righteous will return to dust? And how is it that your body still exists? It still exists. So he said to him, "Who is this Mari? I don't know of him, and I'm not bound by what he has taught." So he said, "Forget about Rav Mari. It's a verse in the Torah. Says that the body will return to the dust like it was." He said, "The one who has taught you Koheles, where this verse is taught, obviously did not teach you Mishlei because you're ignorant of the verse in Mishlei to see the Rekev Atzamos Kina, that the decomposition of the bones is jealousy. This is teaching us only one who has jealousy in his heart, his bones will rot. Anyone who has no jealousy, removed all jealousy from his heart, his bones will not rot. So he felt him, and he realized that his body still had a form to it. His physical body still existed. So he said, if your body still exists, then rise up and enter my home. I see from here that you're ignorant even of verses in the Navi. The verse in Yecheskel says that you will know that I am God when I open up your graves, and is teaching us that until the time that Hashem opens the graves, the dead are not permitted to leave their graves, and therefore I cannot join you. So he said to him, okay, maybe we'll pause here at 7:05. So we'll leave off here. Let's do one more line. Does not it say that you are dust and you return to dust? He said that this will occur immediately before Tchias HaMesim, before the dead are revived. So for a very short time they will return to dust, and then immediately their bodies will return. And until that time, my body remains in existence. Okay, we'll stop here. We can pick up with this tomorrow. Okay, everyone have a wonderful, wonderful day.